Alright, so it looks like we're live. Welcome everyone, we're just getting started here as the hackers take on the Chengdu Pandas. Now I need to do some kind of social media stuff here, make sure that I tweet about the show and I Facebook about the show so that everyone knows that the stream is going and then they can come watch the hackers play. I think the games are just about to get started soon, and we'll pull them up soon. And I'm gonna change the show title: San Jose Hackers versus Chengdu Pandas. And later on, I'm actually going to be joined by FIDE Master Christopher Yoo, fellow hacker and one of the stars of last year's season. He's actually en route to Dallas, where I imagine he's probably playing a tournament. They have some strong tournaments down there. And he's going to be joining us as soon as he basically gets in his hotel, which I think is going to be around 7:30, around halftime. Okay, let me see if I can pull up the games, because I believe we have started playing against the Pandas. Let's see if I can find our guys here. We have Daniel Naroditsky, Zviad Azoria, and I see, where is Azeri Chess? There we go. That's the big guy, Shak Mamadyarov. And our board 4, who had an amazing debut during the Super Saturday, Vinesh Ravuri, who is playing under the username, I think, Soggy Cheese 12 or something. We'll have to talk to him about changing that soon. But here he is. He's playing against the board 1 for the Chinese team, Wang Yu, who's super strong. I'll talk a little bit more about Wang Yu later on in the show because I think his story is quite interesting. I've pulled up our 4 games there. The match has just started, so we don't have any results just yet. And I see we have Nermi99 in the chat, Mr. Timu, fellow hacker. Shout out to you. And okay, I need to do some tweeting. All right, streaming live on Hackers vs Chengdu Pandas. All right, now the Twitter world knows. Let's go to Facebook because that's important too. But I already told the Facebook people that I was streaming, so they should know. It's really unfair that you just have to remind people over and over again that you're gonna do a stream. Now you're doing the stream, then the day after, hey, I did the stream, please watch it. All right, we are live. Hackers vs Pandas. Great. All right. So we see what Vinesh is doing here with white. Let's move on to our top board here and see what Shak Mamadyarov is doing. He's playing black against the board 4 of the Chinese team, Zhao Junwan. Now, 2 of the players I honestly have never heard of from their side, and that is this player and I believe their board 2 or their board 3 as well. So board 4 for China has been a big mystery. In the first week we saw Chu Rotang, who just had a crushing performance. I think she scored like 2 or 2.5 against the Surfers. She didn't do as well later on, but still pretty good for a board 4. We'll see how Zhao does in this one. And I think the lineups here are very interesting. I'm going to give an edge to the hackers because that's my team, and I do think we are kind of outpowering them a little bit on the boards. So we have Mamadyarov. He is expected to get 3, maybe even 3.5 if he's in good form. Daniel Naroditsky is also very good, and I would expect him to pick up at least 3 points today. He's playing against Zhu Zhangyu, who's a grandmaster, but I honestly have not heard of this player, which is pretty unusual, but I want to kind of look him up, and maybe we can get a better idea of who this is. That'll kind of be more interesting for the show, and for me as well. Okay, so Zhu Zhang Yu. And let's see. FIDE. So he's born in 1999. That means he's 18 years old, or maybe has already turned 19. So young player, 25-45, and got the GM title in 2017 in October. So probably earned it a little bit earlier, and it was approved in October. Okay, so pretty recent, recently minted Grandmaster. Oh, I got some action on Twitter from Grandmaster Dennis Boros. He's rooting for us. Shout out to Dennis. And all right, let's get back to the action here. Okay, so we have a very early endgame from Naroditsky. Seems like I'd say Black's position here is very comfortable with the knight on c5. He is down a pawn, which I just noticed, and that's maybe not so good, but we'll see if he can come up with some compensation here. I think this is not really an easy extra pawn for White to really utilize here, but we'll see. Not really sure. Okay, let's pop out the chat here. I see we have a couple viewers. Welcome, guys. And shout out to Chess Thief, who's rooting for the hackers, as he should be. And okay. So I am on my own for, I think, the first 2 rounds, and then we're going to get Christopher to join us, I think, around halftime. Okay, knight a4. So Daniel is coming in and he's trying to maybe play knight to c3 or knight to b2 and go after this c4 pawn. Let's go back to, let's start with board 1. So here we have Mamedyarov. He's playing black. Can I flip the board here? Maybe next time. Actually, I'm gonna have to follow all the players. So let me do that. Question from the chat: where can you get San Jose Hackers merchandise? Yes, we are working, because we do have these pretty cool jerseys. They're like sport T-shirts, and we have, of course, very thematic hoodies for hackers. These are going to be available soon, and eventually you can buy them and support the team. Oh man, I put too many S's in Azeri Chess. So Shaq's username is Azeri Chess with, I think, 4 S's. I always put 5 and mess up. There we go. And let's follow Soggy Cheese 12. That's Vinesh. Gonna try to say his username as much as possible throughout the show. And Izoria 123. So Zviad is also playing. Haven't mentioned him yet, but he's been very, very good for the hackers this year. I think he scored very nicely in almost all of our matches. I think he had one off day against Dallas, but other than that, he's done tremendously well. And this is the same lineup that we had for our Super Saturday performance, whereas I'm sure everyone knows we completely crushed everyone in the field, clinched first place with like 2 rounds to go. I mean, it was a complete domination. And that was really thanks to Zviad and Vinesh. Actually, it wasn't the exact same lineup. I did make a mistake. In that one, Daniel did not play, but we had Raf Mamedov along with Zviad, and that was just a power lineup. Mamedyarov, Mamedov, they did great, but then Zviad did great, and then Vinesh just crushed it. He got like 4.5 out of 8 playing up every single round. I mean, that was a amazing performance. Here, I think this team is gonna take it today. We're on even for the season, so we really have to score here, at least a draw, but I think we can win this match. And yeah, well, Shaq has I think a pretty dynamic position. He likes this kind of game where there's just a lot of imbalances. He has the 2 fianchettos. White is solid in the center, but black has a lot of pressure on e4. So I would probably take white here. I think white is a tiny bit better, but it's the kind of position that black can really outplay a weaker opponent here. H6, this makes sense. This stops any kind of knight g5. I imagine he wants to play like queen e7 and bring the other rook to e8, just to put maximum pressure on e4 and not have to worry about knight g5. But white should be okay. He can regroup with knight d2, bishop e2, and then keep that e4 pawn well protected, maybe even f3. But I think black is fine as well. Let's go to Zviad's game. He's playing white against Grandmaster Ju Wenjun, who was very close to being women's world champion. I think she got knocked out in the semifinals of the women's World Cup, the knockout, and but she did win the women's FIDE Grand Prix, which is very interesting because now she's going to play a match against the current world champion, which is her countrywoman Tan Zhongyi. And I don't know when they're playing their match. I think it's sometime this year. But that'll be really interesting because we normally don't see two players of the same federation playing for the world championship, at least not recently. And that'll be an interesting match to follow. Here, Zviad has his typical Catalan edge. Bishop on g2 looks good. He has the blockade on d4. This knight is pretty awkward, but I imagine it's going to make its way back to c3 soon. And yeah, white is a tiny bit better, but nothing special just yet. I think black's position is pretty solid too. Okay, let's go to Daniel. And Daniel here is trying to make use of his slight lead in activity. The last move was rook b5, it seems. And white would really like to trade rooks and simplify the position. Now the chess.com engine here is telling me that the best move is rook to a6. It's an awkward move to play for a human. It's a lot more natural to just kind of trade and get it over with, or to leave the rook on c5. Rook a6. I think Daniel's really going to have to convince himself that this is the best move if he wants to play that, because that is not natural. Oh, and he does. Well, that shows you his class. Because like you're lining up the rook potentially against this bishop. You have to worry about all kinds of c5 breaks. He really has to be confident that the move is working, and he played it. So kudos to him. We just witnessed true chess mastery, I think. Okay, let's go to Vinesh. So Vinesh has his work cut out for him here because he's playing Grandmaster Wang Yu. Now Wang Yu used to be one of the like clear top 10 players in the world, and this is kind of a similar story to a lot of these top Chinese guys. Is that one of them breaks to kind of the top, like 2750, and then they either stick around or they drop down. And so Wang Yu, he was very, very solid. I think for a period there, maybe like, I don't know, 2010 or something, 2008, he was almost unbeatable. So he would just go to these elite events. He would maybe win 1 or 2 games. He would very rarely lose. He had a super solid repertoire. It was very, very tough to beat him. He was very good. But then somehow he dropped down, and the story is the way kind of support for Chinese players go is like if you keep up your momentum, then the federation is happy to support you. If you start dropping down and there's someone else rising up, you kind of lose that support for them. So in this case, Wang Yu was like kind of the number one. Then Wang Hao turned up, and Wang Hao was a huge sensation. And then suddenly he started getting all the attention and the fanfare. Wang Yu kind of dropped out after Wang Hao. Of course, Ding Liren had a lot of the fanfare. Now it's kind of Wei Yi's turn. And well, the Chinese team is getting very strong. Suddenly they have all of these 2,700 players. Another name that isn't playing tonight but is on the team, the Pandas, is Ni Hua, who used to be another like elite 2,700 player. Kind of dropped down. But clearly the Pandas are the team to beat in the Pacific Division. I mean, if we look at the standings, so far they've been very, very good, very solid. And they're currently on top. They have 4.5 match points out of 5. Dallas also has 4.5. They beat us in a pretty tough match. Then San Diego, Australia, and the Hackers are just outside that playoff zone with 2.5 out of 5 for the season. So if we can win today, this will be a big chance for us to kind of catch up. It'll also be a really nice statement because the Pandas have not lost the match yet. So if the Hackers are the one to deal them their first loss, that's going to feel really good, especially if we see them again in the playoffs and have to take them out a second time. Okay, so here Vinesh is really down on the clock, and I know I said Wang Yu is a super solid player, but he's played a very dynamic opening here. Played the Benoni, and I think White has a pretty reasonable position, but he is really down on the clock here, and he only has 5 minutes. Black here seems to be pretty comfortable. This knight on e5 is good. He's thinking about knight to c4. Yeah, it's kind of hard to play this position for white sometimes, right? Because we're always worried about knight f3 check. We'd love to play like bishop f1, bishop e2, but knight f3 is a problem. Okay, bishop f4 seems to be reasonable, just kind of putting some pressure here. And if knight c4, I don't think that's such a big deal. We can just step aside queen c2. So I think Vinesh is fine. The biggest problem here is just his time. I imagine he's probably a little bit nervous playing against Super GM Wang Yu. So if he can get a draw here, I mean, that's going to be an amazing result. And I just hope he at least feels like he he had some chance in this game, that it's not just like a total blowout. But he does need to pick up the pace. Okay, let's go to... Let's see which game here has had some developments. All right, let's go to Zviad's game. So he's been maneuvering a little bit, and I feel like things have gone well. We last saw in this position, black played knight c5. He brought the knight back to c3, e3. So he doesn't really care. If black takes on d4, he's going to recapture, probably with the queen, and then just keep this pressure on the d5 pawn. So queen d6, knight e2. And now he wants to bring his knight to d4. Should d7, queen h5 is on the board. So we see this a lot in Zviad. He seems like he's such a strategic, positional player, and his style is very much like Soviet Grandmaster. But in a lot of his games, he suddenly goes for the attack and ends up checkmating a lot of his opponents. Okay, black just played g6. This is what I would call a very responsible decision, because once you play this move, you cannot get it back. This diagonal has been opened for good. I imagine we might see queen h6 here, but then bishop f8. But also the d5 pawn seems to be hanging, and he's grabbed it. So what's black's idea here? Is she winning back the pawn immediately, or are we just playing for compensation here? I'm not sure. First thing I would look at is takes and some discovery, but 0 of white's pieces are on light score, so there's nowhere the bishop can discover 2. Maybe black has knight d3 in the position. Whatever it is, we're about to find out, because Wenjun most likely did not blunder the pawn, but has decided to give it up and has something in mind here. Okay, Chess Thief says Naroditsky getting into time trouble. Well, that's not good. And here we see her idea. So takes, knight a4, and now she's putting pressure here and on b2. Okay, so if white just plays rook to c1, oh, then black trades everything and wins the pawn on a3. And this would be nice for black. So maybe the other rook ec1. Yeah, I think black definitely has good play here. Let's go back to the live positions. Zviad has played bishop b4. Interesting. Okay, well, he wants to trade off the dark square bishops, and he's willing to give up the b2 pawn, but the pawn on a7 is going to hang, right? So takes, knight takes b2. We have rook takes a7, and we're threatening f7 as well. So yeah, this looks good for white. Bishop b4. Black hasn't moved yet, so either she's recalculating or maybe she's missed something, but here we go, bishop f6. All right, let's quickly switch to Daniel's game. I hear he's under some pressure here. And he just grabbed on c4. So has he won his pawn back here? Let's see what happened. He's playing around with his pieces, very active. Knight e6, rook d5, takes. Now white has traded. And knight d5, king g7, very, very quickly. Interesting. So he's gotten out of any knight e7 checks, knight f6. He got the pawn back, but these two doubled 8 pawns are not exactly worth 2 full pawns. So strategically, white has some advantage here still, and this is a strong move, I think. f3, e4 is the idea. And this will kind of shut out black's bishop. Yeah, I don't think Daniel's out of the woods here. And again, yeah, the time is not good. I mean, time trouble is such a big thing in this league, because you start off the game in time trouble. 15 minutes is really not a lot of time for players to kind of adjust and try to think about their moves. So yeah, 3 minutes is a tough defense, because he really has to be accurate here. This could easily turn bad very quickly. Okay, he's played rook a4. I think this is the right move, just kind of keeping pressure here. Now I imagine e4 will be played by white to kind of solidify. Then maybe bishop e6. And probably at some point white is going to throw this back in, knight to c3. Yeah, I think I would take white here, especially with the time advantage, but it's not like things are that bad just yet. Let's jump to Shak's game quickly. Okay, here it looks like white is doing well enough. He has this nice d5 square. Shak has just played rook to b8. I think black's idea here is to just keep the tension until the time runs low, and then at the right moment just find that tactical resource and win the game. It's a very practical approach. It's a very risky approach, but it often works in rapid time control. Yeah, I mean, I think objectively white is fine, but the time is low and literally all the pieces are still on the board. So things are going to get very sharp very quickly, and my money's on the 2800. But we'll see. He has gotten himself in trouble before. Last week he had a big upset against at the hands of IM Kostya from Las Vegas, and that game definitely didn't go Shak's way. But that is kind of a rarity more than the norm. So I imagine we'll see the typical 4-0 Shak today, who's going to try and crush every game. Okay, well, he's gotten his rook to b2. Now it feels like black is getting some pressure here. And if white doesn't figure out some way to kind of take advantage of this weakness, if he can't get e5 in, I think black just kind of takes over in this position. Okay, queen d3 is not a very subtle move. He does want to play e5 and try and get in on queen h7 check. And we'll see how black is going to respond to this. Let's see how Vinesh is doing. And, wow, really down on time, huh? 20 seconds. That is not good. His position is okay. It's not great, but the problem is the time. Here, knight is on c6, so he has no problem sacrificing this pawn because he can open up his bishop. So, oh, and black just takes it. That's pretty surprising. Now in e5, I wonder what the idea is. e5 must be played by white. Oh, he decided against it. Maybe black just takes, and if you take on the rook, then queen takes check, and so that just doesn't work for white. Well, good calculation not to go for it. And okay, we're down a pawn, but I think Vinesh objectively is still in the game. The two bishops are good here. You can try to play maybe rook a1, right? Take on a7. Black plays rook c2. Yeah, I think Wang Yu here is playing quickly, kind of on purpose to put pressure. And we'll see if Vinesh can handle it, because in Super Saturday, he did very, very well when he had no time on his clock. He didn't convert all of the winning advantages he had, but he converted a lot of them, and for the most part, he played very well with no time. But the key difference was his opponents also had little time, and he was just kind of outplaying them. Here, if Wang Yu needs the time, he has 10 minutes to kind of think on any kind of critical decision. Here, he's choosing to kind of play fast, which is risky in itself, but probably going to work out for black. I mean, white cannot kind of keep up the pace for very long. Maybe queen c3 here. I think black's position is definitely good, so hard for white to play this one. Okay, we'll stick with this one because the moves are coming very, very quickly. Nothing has really changed on the other boards, but people are getting lower on time, so we're going to see some real time trouble soon. All right, bishop d4. Well, at least white has some activity in the position, and Wang Yu is not infallible. Earlier in the season, he lost to Tadev Abrahamian from the Surfers, and that was a big upset, but it clearly shows that he's not going to be invincible in this format. So there's always a chance here, and I think if Vinesh stays tactically alert and Wang Yu blunders, things could definitely turn. I'm staying positive. Okay, let's go to Zviad's game. We have some exchanges here. And he's managed to keep his extra pawn, but maybe not for long. Take. And black takes the pawn on a3. And white has a little bit of pressure against f7, but is it enough? Rook e7 looks good, but maybe... How does black respond to that? Maybe bishop h3 is going to be a nasty move. yeah, kind of targeting white's back rank. I like this move, rook d6, a lot. Just putting the pressure, keeping the pin. And now black has to figure out a way to untangle, which is not easy. I mean, rook e7 is a pretty serious threat. Okay, rook c3. She wants to go back here. And if rook e7 here... Oh, black has some tactics, right? He gives check. She gives check. King g2. Bishop h3. Take on d6. And black is winning. So white has to avoid rook e7 here, I think. Maybe a move like h4 just to get rid of the back rank issue. This is usually useful, and I think Zviad knows this, but he just wants to see if he has anything more effective. But if not, we're probably going to see him play a move like h4 to improve his king, just to make sure he avoids any kind of tactics and always has this h2 square. Okay, we'll see. Things are definitely heating up. Daniel Naroditsky seems to be down in exchange. And this is probably not good because white's rook is ready to just come in. And even if black gets both of these pawns, the knight has a hard time dealing with the a pawn in this position. I mean, in fact, the knight just doesn't get to the a pawn here. So I don't know. I mean, this is definitely still complicated. Okay, he went a little bit passive here, but king d4, king f5 probably. I feel like white should have just kind of gone for it, but maybe he couldn't calculate it through and wasn't sure. Like knight takes both pawns and then g4, but I don't know. It's also not really right to kind of keep the rook passive. So he's protected the pawn with the king, and now he switches. Now black has less counterplay. It kind of makes sense. So yeah, this one is definitely Daniel is definitely in trouble here. The rook is just much stronger than the knight in the position. Even though he has two pawns for it, the two pawns aren't worth their full strength. Okay, Vinesh did lose. Let's see what happened. So after bishop d4, knight f3 was played. Bishop takes g7, and he took on e1. So I think, yeah, Wang Yu calculated here for a minute, right? Because he had the time. He figured out that this was the right way to go. And indeed, it looks very dangerous for black. So he probably calculated this accurately to make sure that he doesn't get mated. But rook c1 looks like black is just giving mate. King h2, knight f3 check, and he resigned because bishop takes, queen takes, and rook h1 is unstoppable. So tough game there. And if he had played queen f6 here, does black have an immediate mate? Knight f3 check. Yeah, because the knight is protected by the queen, so we don't have a king to f3 here. All right, so that's one for the pandas. And switching back to Shaq's game, and Azoria did play h4. Whoops, as expected. We don't want to scroll down there. That messes with the picture. Okay, that looks fine. He did play h4, king f8, rook a1. White has some winning chances here because his pieces are just more active, but black is solving the pin. My guess is that this is going to liquidate to a draw. But anything can happen. Zviad's really down on time, which is not in our favor. But my guess is that this is going to be most likely drawn. Okay, Daniel, he's still fighting. And white hasn't won the game yet, but I think white is definitely doing well. And shock here. Well, position's still complicated, and both players are down on the clock. So bishop takes d6 was played, winning this pawn. Rook d6 is knight e7, and then the rook hangs. Oh wait, need to go to the live position. Yeah, I think things are very complicated. I mean, it's a total toss-up in terms of the chess position. I'm glad he has this knight here covering h7, not getting mated. But things look scary. I mean, queen f5. I feel like white is playing well in this game. And now he wants to maybe play knight to f6 check and really start causing trouble. So yeah, this looks definitely dangerous for black. I'm hoping Shock can swindle it. And oh no, I think Azoria lost. What happened to Zviad? Bishop f3. Oh, he just hung the bishop. Oh, I don't know. Maybe that was a mouse slip. I doubt he wanted to put it here. That is unfortunate. Yeah, that's a big half point loss there because this game should have been drawn. and he just well, probably mouse slipped because that's a bummer. Okay, I'm gonna count on Shock to win the game. Daniel's game is, wow, going into this king and pawn end game, and it doesn't look good. Yeah, he had to resign. So this round, this is gonna be a tough one for us. That's 3 for the Pandas, and things went very fast here, but it looks like White kind of correctly calculated that he can just go for this endgame. Well calculated, because the king is not going to be able to stop these 2 pawns, and White's king is able to blockade these 2, and so Black was not in time with this e3 here, and White just queens and wins the game. Okay, let's go to Shock. Hopefully he can pull it off here, although his position objectively is well, let's just say the chess.com engine does not like it. Sometimes I play a game with my students here where I tell them to guess the evaluation. Maybe you guys want to guess if you don't have it on your end. But yeah, it's not great. Okay, well, we're going to hope he somehow pulls it off. White is currently threatening bishop f5, which is a real shame. I'm also going to hope he doesn't have our other games open, because then he's going to see that we're currently at 0-3, and that'll probably upset him. That's not good for morale. Yeah, this looks completely busted for Black, to be honest. So we're about to see a pretty serious upset here, I think, because Black's position is just is really bad. I mean, White has knight f6 check whenever he wants. I mean, the king is just too exposed here. Queen on a3 is not effective. We're really just going to need nothing short of just like magic here, just on full on wizardry. Well, both players are under a minute, so anything can happen, but yeah, we'll see. Knight g6, he takes, and knight f6 check. He's trying. I mean, he's playing quickly to put pressure, but like knight h4 here is just game over. Queen g4 also looks good. Yeah, this is very difficult for Black. I think Shock kind of got caught here. He's thinking. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the problem is White's pieces are just too active, right? I mean, he just took too many risks, and his opponent found a way to expose on the king side. Okay, rook b6. Let's see, if queen takes g6, what's going on there? We're going to have to most likely take on f6. Well, it's a lot of pressure for White. I mean, I think he knows he's close to the win, so he's going to have to... He really wants to pull it off, right? Like, he doesn't want to screw it up. Okay, bishop takes f6. He can take on g6 here, and then knight f8 check, and he has. And yeah, this is bad. Okay, king takes. Well, audacious. I think that's definitely the right move. Knight f4. But now queen g6 is coming, and I think it's just going to be mate. Yeah, rook takes, and look at Black's pieces. Just completely cut from the king. This is just resignable. Yeah, knight h5 and queen g7. This is also good, just taking the rook. Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, amazing game by Mr. Zhao Junwan, but tough one for us. It just started here, like he played bishop c2, and here he just started setting it up, like this attack with queen d3, and then he found a way to take this d6 pawn, which is really unfortunate. I think the blunder was here. Queen a5, bishop takes d6, and suddenly Black's position collapses. Then he spent 4 minutes to play knight f4, so clearly this was the move that was blundered. And yeah, that's always a risk in rapid chess, that you're gonna miss, you know, a very, very simple tactic, but that's gonna happen to everyone. So what can we do? Okay, so tough round for the hackers, not gonna lie. Let's put that score on the board, and now we're just gonna have to like bounce back. I mean, we just need to completely forget about it. It's suddenly a 3-round match. Very, very difficult for us. I don't even know what game to leave it on because we lost all of them. I'm going to check out another game. Check out Dreyev playing against Andrei Ostrovsky, just so we have a live game while we wait for the next round. I imagine that should start in about 5 minutes, 7:10. So I should check my my social media and see how things are going. All right, well, tough start, but we have to keep fighting, and I feel like our lineup is strong enough that we can actually come back from this one. Like, I'm genuinely not all that concerned. The reason is Shaq is a professional player. Obviously, he hates losing to, 2,000 Chinese kid, right? But he knows he has to turn it on. You can't just give up in the match. That's not how chess works. The next game is going to start from the exact same starting position, and we absolutely still have a chance. So I know all of our guys are gonna show up to play. I have no doubt about that. Now the question is, are we going to be able to turn the tables against what is now going to be an extremely confident team of pandas? But we'll see. We will see. Yeah, what can I suggest as far as team strategy here? Now, it doesn't mean we should just start going crazy and playing for the win. I don't think our players should really change our styles. But something happened there, and that was definitely a tough one. I mean, Zviad was definitely not losing his position. He was kind of slightly better the whole game. That one was just kind of looked like a mouse slip to me. That should have been a half point. And I think Daniel was just kind of too low on time too quickly and had a tough position there. Last week, Daniel did great. He scored 3.5 against a pretty tough Las Vegas team. So if he can just forget about it and continue with the great skill he's shown before, I think we still have a fighting chance here. All right, so Dreyev here, for those that don't know, is just a positional genius. I think he's truly an amazing player. Even though his rating here is only 2648, I consider him full 2700 beast mode. And he's going to be showing the power of the queen here versus the two rooks. Because black's position, I think, is pretty difficult here. Okay, let's see who else we have playing. See, we have the Australian team playing, and we have the Surfers playing against the Vegas team, the Rats. Here we have Melik playing against my friend Keaton. And interesting, what happened here? Knight takes e5. Okay, so pretty dry position here. I think white is going to try and convert on this one. And I think the next round should start in just about 3 minutes. All right, let's see what's going down in the team chat. All right, we're remaining positive. We're rooting for the comeback, and I think we're gonna see it. Okay, so that was a round where 1 plays 4, 4 plays 1, 2 plays 3, 3 plays 2. This round, I think we're going to see 1 play 3. So we're gonna have Zviad playing against Wang Yu, and we're gonna have Shak playing against I think Zhu, the third board of the Chinese team, the Grandmaster, the 19 or 18-year-old. And Vinesh will likely be playing board 2, I think Zhu and Jun. So we'll see how he does. I know he's been preparing tough for today's match. I don't expect him to get shut out, although he's going to be the underdog in all his games, but he played so well on Super Saturday, and he's done a lot of chess recently. I mean, trains hard. I don't expect him to go 0-4 today. But we'll see. I didn't expect us to go 4-0 in the round 1 either. So who knows? Who knows? All right. Now, game should be getting started in under a minute here. Let's go back to Dreyev's game. He's still going for it. Maybe wants to get his knight closer. Maybe play h5, queen b5 somewhere. This knight is really amazing. Just kind of killing the knight on b7. But, okay. Now, one thing that's really cool about the Pro Chess League is just all the action that happens on Twitter. It's always cool to see just like all these different memes and GIFs of the games and highlights throughout the day. I really like that chess has really gotten use out of Twitter. Big results today. I think the Pittsburgh Pawn Grabbers, they won again. This has been, I think, one of the biggest surprises of the year, because that team was not bad, but one of the weaker teams in terms of just like rating average. And this year they're just really crushing it. So that's great to see. I think our games have just started, so I'm going to switch to those. And let's close out these games here. And I think we're still waiting on Daniel Naroditsky's game, but I imagine it has already started, so I'm going to find that one as well. Indeed. And he's playing the board for the Chinese team, Zhu Junwan. So far, Zhao has had a pretty good record against the hackers so far. He defeated our board one in what I consider a very nicely played game. Daniel here is playing his recent pet line, the Verisov attack, and Black is thinking, which is confusing because maybe he is not familiar with this line or hasn't looked at it recently. Maybe it was a surprise. I'm not sure, but we'll see. And, okay, we have e6 here. And this is just a pretty trendy line. A lot of times white plays like e3, f3 here, goes for e4, queen d2, long castles. We'll see how Daniel handles it. I'm sure he's aware of the score in the first round, so he's going to be very cautious against this guy and not going to underestimate him, hopefully. Okay, so Shak is playing the English with white against Zhu Zhangyu. This guy beat Daniel in round one, and Shak is going to... Seems like he's just going for kind of a solid edge. He just wants to play this English with a3 and b3 or b4, and just kind of slowly grind his opponent out. I'm imagining we'll see d3 here, or knight d5. Yeah, this move makes sense, not to allow black to play d5. And yeah, typical position. And we have Christopher Yoo ready to join the show. I'm going to call him real quick, and hopefully we can set up the stream quickly so that he's able to join without any huge technical issues. Got to get my headphones in. And I think things will work out, but we'll see. Might have to do a little bit of troubleshooting. Hopefully things are okay. And I'm gonna make my webcam smaller just to get that ready. Put that there. And we're watching Shak play typical English b4 there, bishop b2 next, I imagine, and e4. I think he's just going to play d4 to kind of block that. All right. Yeah, let's unmute the default speakers there. And yeah, we're going to get Christopher Yoo joining the show shortly. I think I should add his name. And let's put that there. You guys are watching the magic happen in real time. That seems to be lined up relatively okay. Yeah. I think he's almost ready to go. And very exciting. Christopher is was one of the big surprises of last season, playing for the Hackers, doing very, very well and helping us get to the quarterfinals. Okay, let's switch to Daniel's game because we have some exciting things here. So he got this early knight b5, and this is typical. Black is usually not worried about it because of knight a6. But bishop e4 check, bishop a5, that's kind of weird. White played a4, a6, b4, knight c6. Wow. And so if takes the bishop, he's just going to take the knight. Knight c6 is not a move that would even come into my horizon here. I would imagine black just plays like either takes right away or bishop b6 first, and then maybe a5 and then takes. But knight c6, yeah, completely different type of style to me. Okay, white took, he did not really hesitate. A b5, a b5 is most likely going to happen. And maybe black's idea is to take on a5 with the knight. Okay, it kind of makes sense. But I like white's dark squared bishop here. So I think this is a decent opening for Danya. Okay, Shak has played c5. Kind of an interesting move. I don't really like it, but I'm sure he has his own intentions about the position. Just seems like kind of giving up all the pressure against the center, but maybe he felt like he kind of had to because dc4 was definitely being threat. But the problem with c5 is that it just feels very solid for black. But e4, now knight d4. Aha. So he doesn't just close it up, because then black is definitely fine. I mean, white's position here is just very much blocked. But he uses the d4 square for his knight. Bishop g4. And now I think we'll see maybe queen c2, queen b3, something like this. Okay, Zviad. Well, Zviad is black against Wang Yu, so he has his work cut out against him. This is a very strong player, and we're playing h3 King's Indian. Very interesting. And c5. So this move is not super theoretical, but it is very interesting to go into the Benoni. And I think this is kind of Zviad's own specialty in this kind of position, because somehow we've kind of run into a theoretical position for the h3 King's Indian, but the difference is that black's pawn is usually back on c7. So it's both an advantage and disadvantage for black, because we cannot play c6 like we kind of want to in some lines, but pawn on c5 is doing an excellent job controlling these dark squares. Okay, so g4 is on the board. This is a pretty thematic breakthrough. White played e4. And yeah, he's playing actively here, and I think black has his fair share of chances here. He's going to put the king on h8. He wants to maneuver the knight to e5. It's definitely risky. Timu says it's a bit sketchy for black. Yeah, I agree. I mean, these positions are always risky against the h3 King's Indian. I mean, this really is one of the most dangerous lines. But there's a lot of bite to these positions for black too, and guys like Nakamura and Ding Liren have really won some fantastic games in this kind of structure. So it's double-edged. I mean, white is usually better, but black gets some chances as well. All right, let's see how Vinesh is doing. And he's playing Ju Wenjun, and we have the Fianchetto King's Indian. c6, knight c3, queen a5. Played very quickly, e4, e5. And I'm just going to move to where... Aha, so here Vinesh spent 5 minutes on a6. Okay, so probably he was maybe out of book at this point, but I think that's a lot of time to spend on a move that's one of the, kind of the first moves you would consider here. Maybe he was calculating b4 and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, Timo says he realized that b5 was badly timed, but judging by the timestamp, all of this was played very, very quickly. So I'm not sure exactly what went wrong here, because playing this fast, I assume that means he's kind of like in his book, right? But maybe not. Maybe something went wrong because he kind of slows down. Anyways, His position, though, I feel like is not that bad, and he has just taken this pawn on e4. And, well, now things have just gotten very concrete, and I actually have no idea whether this is good or bad. Chess.com loves this for black, so for some reason it's thinking that, did white just blunder a pawn here? Let's see, knight c5. Bishop e3 played quickly. Knight takes e4, and then 17 seconds to play knight takes e4, and then knight d2 very quickly played. This is a blunder. Yeah, I think Ju Wenjun is bluffing here because she made these moves quickly, but like, what compensation is white getting here? No, I think she blundered the pawn. Black should just trade and it's just the pawn up. So this is looking good for Vinesh. Let's hope his confidence is good, so he realizes he's in good position and can try and convert it. Because I want more than a draw from him in this game. I think he should be trying to win. Okay, Christopher is calling us, so let's see if we can add him to the show. Hey, Christopher, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
All right, awesome. Now, you guys in the chat, if you don't mind giving us an audio check. Christopher, where did you just land? Are you in Texas?
Yeah.
And what are you doing there?
I'm gonna play in a chess tournament tomorrow. Gonna play chess.
You know, I assumed, but what tournament is that?
I think the Southwest Classic.
Oh, I know that tournament. 9-round tournament?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's see. I need to add your video here. You have your audio. Have you been following the games yet?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Well, things are not going great. We're down.
What's the score so far?
So the score is 4-0. They won all 4 games in the first round. And that was not a good result for us, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Shock on board 1. He got a big upset on his end because the board 4 from China's team beat him, played a fantastic game, opened up his king, and just had a winning attack. So bad start. But this round things are going okay. And let me know when you open up the games there on your end, and we'll start discussing them.
Okay.
But no rush. We still have a lot of time. Vinesh doing very well here against Ju Wenjun. I like this f5, f4. She started pushing up this h-pawn. I think black could have also played e4 like Zia did and maybe put the knight on e5. But she's playing quickly here to try and put pressure. But this is a good position for black. So hopefully he keeps going well. So, Christopher, you recently played in Gibraltar, is that right?
Yeah.
And how did you do there? I'm sure the people in the chat want to hear about your experience.
The result was okay, but the play wasn't so great.
Very mature response. I could see like Magnus giving that response. Like, the result was okay, but my play wasn't so good. Well, did you have any highlights in the tournament? What was your favorite part?
Well, I did beat IM.
Okay. And you are FM now, right?
Yeah.
Now, when did you get your FM title?
In July, maybe officially in August. I won the North American Youth Under 16 section.
Oh, I see. So you got the title automatically from that.
Yeah.
Very nice. And we always need an update on your age. How old are you?
I'm just turned 11.
You just turned 11. That makes sense. Last year you were 10 for the most part. So, okay. That checks out. Well, winning the under 16 at the age of 11 is pretty good. So, congrats on that.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, we got to let the Twitter world know that you're online. Because people, they always come into the Twitch chat and they're like, where is Christopher? When is he coming back to do commentary? And so here you are. All right, have you got the games open?
No, right now I need to log in.
Oh,
I don't.
you should get on that. Vinesh's
I
position definitely heating up.
don't know the password.
Yeah, things are going to get very interesting. I mean, this already feels like kind of a make or break round because if we lose another round, it's just going to be an insurmountable lead. Um, but hopefully we come back. Here we have Zviad, and he's playing for b5. King h8 is good, and he's staying pretty even on the clock, so that's good because anything can still happen, especially in this kind of position when we're getting lower on the clock. Okay, h4. I feel like black kind of just has to go for
Yeah.
b5 here, but yeah, we'll see. This one is definitely sharp. Vinesh really down on time. I mean, after blundering that pawn, I feel like when Junis played well to kind of put pressure on him, just like quickly queen g4, just kind of taking advantage. Maybe he did push f4 too quickly because this does allow this queen g4. It's kind of annoying. Take. Queen d7, queen g6. So he's given back the pawn, but he's trying to go for activity. I mean, you know what? Fine. I don't blame him for this decision. I think he wants to kind of double the rooks. Maybe play rook f2 or e4 somewhere. Problem is this bishop on b7 is very much an inactive piece. And he does have knight d3 in the position, so I think maybe that's kind of what he's playing for. Yeah, tough position. I think it kind of gotten away from him a little bit, but we'll see. I think all three results still possible here.
Now I'm checking the games.
Okay, great. Oh, Timo, so to include a webcam, what we would need to do is kind of get our own Zoom account, because all the players, they have to be on webcam when they're playing on Zoom. And then they would have to just kind of be on our Zoom account, and then we can include the webcams. So it's kind of doable. We'd have to pay a little bit for the like Zoom subscription, but definitely doable. Maybe not worth the hassle in my opinion, but yeah, it is kind of nice when you can see the players at the webcams. But honestly, right now it would be kind of I can't imagine we'd be seeing a lot of happy faces. So it would be pretty tough. Okay, Daniel is doing okay. His opponent is definitely shoving his knights in our face here with e4 and c4. But two bishops is two bishops, right? And white here has a duty to kind of make use of them. But I don't know, position seems unclear. So far the performance rating of Zhao is about 3,200 because we just have his one win over Shaq. Alright, Christopher, how's it going over there?
It's going okay.
Have you managed to find the games?
Yeah, now all I need to do is I'm now trying to find the Vignesh game.
Yeah, so he's under Soggy Cheese 12.
Oh, I see. Doesn't look like he's doing too badly in this game.
Seems okay, yeah?
Yeah.
The
Seems
problem,
like
if you go back a little bit earlier, is that his opponent actually just blundered her e4 pawn. So earlier he was doing much, much better.
Also, he's under some time pressure. He has less time than his opponent. That's the downside, but he's been playing pretty well against a strong opponent.
Yeah, so far he's playing okay, but the time is going to be difficult here. Now in the first round he was playing Wang Yu, and he was also down on time. Wang Yu kind of had a different strategy. He was just playing very, very quickly and trying to just kind of run Vinesh out of time. And managed to succeed because his position was also pretty good. But we'll see here. It seems like Ju Wenjun is more taking her time, but after losing that pawn, she really found a good way to put pressure. Now we're kind of potentially threatening bishop h3 here for white. So black should keep that in mind.
Yeah. I wonder if Vignesh is gonna have to move his rook back, or does he have some counter-attack here?
Well, there is knight b3. It's always nice to take the dark squared bishop off the board, but
yeah.
Or maybe you can play knight d4. Okay, knight b3. Yeah, I like it. Are we gonna see knight d4 here, maybe?
I think so.
I feel like in a kind of a rapid game, we should just keep this knight on the board because tactically it's so useful.
Yeah, especially under time pressure and sort of.
Yeah.
It looks like Wayne Yu went for this interesting idea, but I'm not sure about Azoria's position. He just went for knight e6, which the point is if black had taken the knight, then d takes e6, queen takes e6, and then white has to move bishop g4. And if queen e7, then knight d5, followed by bishop takes e7 and knight b6.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the d6 pawn falls or the e4 pawn falls.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like white would have a pretty big advantage there. So Azoria went for, I think, a good practical decision to sacrifice the exchange in this position. I wouldn't say his position is necessarily good, but it still has practical chances.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. But we agree that black's position is probably not good, but okay. We'll see. Because keeps the bishop on the board. He has rook to b8, knight to b4. He has ideas. He has moves in the position. In Blitz, this can be very useful. But Wang Yu is 2700 for a reason, so he's probably going to find a way, or at least look for a way to kind of squash black's initiative, if he can. Mm-hmm. We'll see. Okay, let's go to Shock's game. And he's playing here against the board 3, Zhu Zhangyu. And well, he has the two bishops, but black's position, I mean, is just incredibly solid here. I mean, look at this. This is a masterpiece. Like, all pieces defending this knight on e5. All pawns on opposite color of the bishop. I imagine he just plays a6 here, and he says, I have achieved the dream position.
And at some point, he can put pressure on the e3 pawn with bishop h6 when he has the opportunity.
Yeah.
He's just gonna trade off the dark square bishop, and white will no longer have the bishop pair, and then now he's also threatening the e3 pawn. So I think black has a positional advantage here.
Looks much better for black. I agree with you, and Shock agrees as well. So that's why he's playing g4, and he's looking to open things up, to create some dynamic chances. Yeah, so far he's not really performed up to his level. I mean, especially the round 1 loss. But the problem is it's also the time zone. You know, he's playing in Azerbaijan, and over there it's like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. right now. So it's very, very early, and it's tough to play super early. Okay, let's bounce back to Vinesh's game. He's come in with rook to c4, queen to d3.
I think, okay, guess queen h5 makes sense in this position, or bishop ca.
I like bishop ca a lot.
Yeah. I think Vignesh is preparing some sort of attack, followed by queen h5 or queen g6, and so we can take back with the bishop.
On f5.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I like this for black. I think he's done the right thing in terms of definitely improving the bishop here. Okay, d5 pawn, definitely we don't want to take. That's going to be knight f6 check. I say, yeah, we just continue. Queen h5. Beautiful.
Threatening knight e2.
Oh yeah, that's a big threat. That one can be missed. I mean, does white just play probably rook e1, yeah?
Mhm.
But we'll see if she spots that. Probably she will.
Still knight f3, and then takes and rook takes. Queen e2, rook takes e4, followed by rook takes g3 check, king f1, bishop h, queen h3 check, king e2, queen h2. It seems like it's almost winning for black.
So that's if rook fe1, right?
Yeah, rook d1.
Yeah, rook d1 seems more safe to keep f3 under control. Now, problem again is the time. He only has 1 minute here. So rook takes f1, he trades, queen takes. And maybe bishop g4 here.
Yeah. Knight takes d6, knight f3, bishop takes f3, bishop, rook c2.
Okay, I want to jump back to Zori's game. I like rook c2 here, but there have been a lot of changes, and he's gotten his rook down to a1. And in order to do this, I think he's given up a full rook. Yeah, knight b4. So he sacrificed his piece, got the rook to a1, and now he has a threat of e3.
And if queen e3, I guess he's planning bishop e3 and e3. It seems like he managed to pose a lot of practical problems.
Yeah, white has some issues here, right? Because bishop d4 and then e3.
I see how he sacrificed his piece. So on move 24, when you played a3 to try to prevent knight b4 is my guess, but he just went straight in with knight b4 to open up his rook, which is probably a pretty good decision, at least practically.
I think so. Okay, queen f4 is on the board. And, wait, but we have bishop takes b2 in the position, right? So we can play e3. And if queen f5, we take on b2.
King takes b2, and then king takes a1. Not like we don't have prey.
But,
seems to favor white.
I feel like the rook on h1 is kind of hanging there.
Yeah, it's unprotected.
Yeah, maybe at the end there we'll have queen e5 check, and if the king goes to b1 or a2, we have queen e4. Or if the king goes to a2, we'll have queen d5, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're gonna find out. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a lot of pieces we just gave up.
But it's queen f6.
f6. Why not queen e5 check?
Yeah, queen e5 and queen takes d5. I don't see what I mean.
It's just the rook, right?
Yeah.
Queen e5 takes, and then. Well, that's the problem when you're low on time, is you have to make these moves very quickly. Okay, he's threatening mate, so we have to take on e2 with check.
King a. Actually, it's not that easy to get out of these checks. If
right.
Queen a6 check, king b2, queen e2 check, king c1, then queen c4 check, king d1, queen d3 check. How does white get out of these checks without blundering a piece or something?
So this is likely ending in a perpetual.
Yeah.
Okay, well, a draw is going to be a good result. It means Viat is technically our board 3, and I mean, he was kind of busted, right, earlier on. So this is a good, this is definitely a good result.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump back to Vinesh. He is, I don't know, looks good. 92?
Yeah, 92. I think.
And, well, at worst, we just have a draw here by perpetual, right?
Yeah.
This has gone well. Yeah, I think, okay, I mean, a draw here is going to be great. The question is, can he get out of checks?
I don't see how.
Yeah, because with the queen on the f-file, if the king ever goes to h5, we'll have bishop f3.
I think somebody offered a draw in this game. I don't know who it was. In that sound. But it doesn't look like he accepted.
Yeah, I think he shouldn't try here too much, right? Because doesn't seem to be a way to get out of the check safely. Okay, so we're gonna have a draw here, but that's a good result. Izoria indeed
Yeah.
drew, but I think we might have missed a chance here because he did have this queen e5 check. I'm going to put it up on the board. Then king a2. We take on d5. King b2. Oh, but white will have bishop c4. So maybe this is...
Then you still have queen takes c4, so it sort of leads to the same thing as the game.
After we grab the rook on h1, maybe white plays bishop c4. So yeah, maybe that wasn't so clear. I think it's good that he ended up with a solid score.
Then h6, but so rook takes c3.
Yeah, exactly. And
Queen
white will
takes
have 3
h5.
pieces. Okay, well I've switched to Shak's game here. So 2 draws so far in this round, but that's good because these are our bottom 2 boards, board 3 and 4. Ideally, we would expect a positive result on our other 2 boards, but especially with white, right? But we'll see. I mean, this team is really tough. Daniel seems to be a pawn up, but not super healthy pawn.
It looks like Shak might have blundered. So,
yeah, why is he down a piece?
Well, okay, we can look at the last couple of moves. On move 39, rook f1 check, king g7. Now rook f7 check. If king takes f7, queen takes h4. So king g8. But now queen takes h4, knight takes h4. And now the bishop and rook so unfreeze sort of. And if the bishop moves, the rook hangs. And if the rook moves, then the bishop hangs. So there's nothing to do about it. So he just has to grab a couple pawns and start pushing his pawns. There's still some chances, but I think with best play, black should win this.
Yeah, looks good for black. I mean, the knight is strong. He can try to set up mates with like rook to g5 right now. Yeah, this is not enough for white. I think Shak was really pushing too hard here for the win. But with the score 4-0, I mean, I don't really blame him because I mean, we have to come back. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I mean, if he just blundered the bishop there, or he kind of went for the sacrifice. In any case, yeah, this one is not looking good. But we'll see. Anything can still happen. I mean, c6 is on the board.
C6?
Maybe this isn't even so clear.
Yeah, this is actually quite interesting. If black plays b4, then rook a8 check, followed by c7,
Right.
and then the pawn queens. And if rook e8, then a takes b5, followed by c7. Oh, it looks like Shak managed to create some counterplay, so we just took the pawn.
Okay, so if c7, he's just going back, right?
Rook a8 check and c7. Did the tables turn?
So he's going to win the exchange, and black is going to take the last pawn, so probably another draw.
Yeah. It's good considering the position he was in. Oh,
Rook a7.
yeah.
Oh my god. I
I
don't
wonder
like
if this works.
I don't like this at all. Wait, rook a8?
Rook 8?
Oh, worked out. Oh man. I do not like what he did there, but I think it's worked out for him, and he's pulled off a win. Wow, what a swindle.
King g3, just out of checking distance from the knight.
Yeah, I mean, wow. He found some magic here. Unbelievable. Okay, we have to go back and see, was this risk worth taking? Rook a7, a takes b5. Yeah, I mean, black just wasn't able to get the knight back in. Okay,
I mean,
well, we're down to 1 game, and oh, Daniel did win his game.
Yeah.
So we're back in it. That was a 3-1. Very nice.
Yeah.
Let's see what happened in the last 2 moves here. Seems like the c-pawn got going. And black was just not able to create counterplay. Oh, rook takes d3. Nice shot to finish it off. And the pawn is just promoting here for white.
Yeah.
All right. So not bad. That brings the score to 5-3. And that means we're within striking distance. Excellent. I think that was an excellent round for us, especially because all 4 boards scored. Zviad and Vinesh pulled off upsets. Shak had some adventures, but a win is a win. And Daniel seems like he won his game Not super cleanly, but I don't think he was really ever in trouble in this one, so I think that's good. A win is a win. I'll take any win against any Chinese player.
Mhm.
Okay, so next round will be starting, I think, in 5 minutes. I'm going to switch to some of the other games here. We have Dreyev playing against Grandmaster Pakleza.
Looks like Dreyev is trying to grind out an end game.
Yeah, what else is new, right?
Yeah.
Every time.
I think it's similar to what Dreyev usually does, grind out opponents in end games.
That's
Okay.
his bread and butter.
But I wouldn't really say that he's that much better here, even though he has a isolated pawn. Black does have counter prey and activity, and also this rook on h1 is tied down to the defense of the h3 pawn. So I think the position is pretty decent for Black.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think objectively, Black here is quite comfortable. Oh, and we have Tiger Tom in the chat. Shout out. And he's referring to Ding Liren, one of the Chinese superstars that everyone is kind of expecting that Ding Liren is just logged in under the board 4 account of whoever's playing for the Pandas and just kind of... But there is, a safeguard against that. All the players have to play on webcam, and I think even Greg Shahadi would be able to recognize Ding Liren on webcam. Maybe they gave him some kind of mask, I don't know. Because so far the board 4 for the Pandas has performed at like 25, 2600 level. So really, really tough opponent there. And would he? Yeah, I think Greg would recognize Ding Liren. I mean, Ding Liren is a very recognizable, friendly face, full of venom on the inside because he's one of the most dangerous players out there. But yeah. All right, 3 minutes to go. So this next round, let's think about the lineups here. We're gonna have, I think, 1 versus 2 and 3 versus 4. So that means Wang Yu plays against Danya Naroditsky. Shak plays Ju Wenjun. Vinesh plays Grandmaster Zhu. And Zviad plays the board 4, Zhao. Yeah, and Tima says just route someone's face cam through Ding Liren's laptop. Yeah, that would be pretty easy, huh? Yeah, I feel like we need to start asking more questions about the identity of the board 4 for the Chinese team. Because so far...
Right now I was looking at the game against Craig Hilby versus Andrei Otropsky. It looks like it went into some interesting piece sacrifice line where white sacrifices a piece for a few pawns.
Oh wow.
It seems like quite an exciting game, and it's only move 11.
Wow, so we have this deferred Steinitz going into a delayed Yanish gambit in d4. Yeah, very interesting sacrifice.
I guess what Black just played is move 97. He might have ideas like Queen d5. So White has to be pretty fast here.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe like Bishop b3 just to kind of cut this diagonal.
And that makes sense also with Bishop, but then like Bishop f5 still.
Yeah, it seems like White just doesn't have enough, right?
Bishop
Black
c7.
is kind of under control here.
Yeah.
It's only 2 pawns.
At least you could try to stop castling with Bishop b3. But I'm not okay. Bishop g5. I considered this. What does White have against Queen d5? That's a question.
I guess we're finding out. Maybe Queen f4, does black just take on g2? And not to
I
take
think
the
he
pawn,
can.
but just to kind of create counterplay, right?
Yeah, and they also have rook f1, bishop h3.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good for Craig. We'll see if the nom-nom factor can pull it off.
Mhm.
Now, as a team, we're rooting here for the Vegas team because the Surfers are ahead of us in the standings and we want to catch up. But of course, we have a lot of friends in that team, but we have friends on the Vegas team too. So I don't know who we're rooting for. We're rooting for Vegas, right? We need to catch up, get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, it seems like the games are starting. So Soggy Cheese, he's playing his King's Indian against board 3. Now, King's Indian worked out against Ju and Jun. He had a winning position, I think, at multiple times, ended up drawing. So he should be feeling good. And here he's going to be tested against the Averbach system. But I imagine he's going to be able to... I imagine he has something up his sleeve here. He's playing the theoretical line. Shock has decided to play e3 against Ju and Jun. And he's doing kind of a collie setup. Pretty simple. And, I still need to follow Daniel.
Looks like Vignesh played a King's Indian, played the Benoni.
Yeah, this is one of those lines where, black just plays c5, goes for this Benoni setup. Knight e4.
Looks like now white just played bishop h6, trying to get rid of the bishop. I won against queen takes b2. He might, I'm wondering what he's planning against queen takes b2. Oh, then bishop takes g7 is possible. Then queen takes g7. Then queen f4 is an idea.
Right, queen f4
He tried to
for
put
white.
pressure on the d6 pawn, and it seems like white has a good compensation for the pawn. So that might be his idea. So Vignesh took on f3 first.
Yeah, I like this decision quite a lot. Yeah, this is definitely some home cooking from white. But it's interesting that he avoided kind of the most critical line. So after queen b6, queen e2, bishop f5, the key move here for white is knight h4. This is on move 11. This is considered kind of the critical line, and I'm sure Vignesh has this prepared with knight e4 and so on. But white just castled, which is not supposed to be theoretically dangerous. And I'm assuming Vignesh knows that because knight h4 is kind of well known as the only move there that's supposed to pose problems. He played knight e4 in about 10 seconds, which is the main idea, absolutely the best move. And then I like that he took on f3 and played knight d7. I think black is comfortable here. I think white is also fine, but I think black has no reason to be really upset about this. I think he has a good knight here. This knight can eventually go to e5 or e8. I'm happy with it.
Yeah. And also when you don't know opening lines, it's not usually good to go into crazy lines, especially where you have to defend.
Yeah.
So I think he also chose not just the best objective choice, but probably practical choice from the situation he was in.
I agree. I like it. Let's go to... let's see. Zviad's game is already... Or Shock's game has already hit the middle game. And he's accepted the hanging pawns here. Knight takes e5. And now he's choosing how to recapture. d e5, okay.
He's gonna go for the more sharp way. Now he's gonna try bishop e4, so get rid of that b7 bishop. And if bishop takes e4, he can trade to his improvement with knight takes e4. And he can think of attacks like queen h5, rook d3, knight g5, followed by rook h3 ideas.
Yeah.
Seems like a good idea.
I like this for white. Actually, this is a move that wouldn't be in my first impressions, right? Because white is kind of the one who's attacking here. But after bishop e4 in the trade, kind of everything starts flowing for white. He has rook d3, like you said, queen h5. Makes a lot of sense for his coordination. So Tom, I actually have a blue screen here. There's a green screen on the other side. And I just... Okay, you know the apartment where I'm at, so the exact same place. And then I just kind of like attached it to the wall using command hooks so they don't damage the wall. And yeah, it turned out great. I mean, it's I have to finagle my webcam to make sure that it fits right, but yeah, it looks it's pretty solid now. This is just my typical setup. Okay, so we have knight d6, takes, and f6. Very unbalanced position. I think Jeremy Silman would love to write about this position in his books. His white has the bishop, he has this pawn, his structure is weak. Black has this nice square on c5. Who would you take here, Christopher? What do you think?
Wait.
In Shock's game.
Seems like quite an interesting position. Obviously, the d6 pawn can't be immediately captured because bishop takes f6. But if queen g4, then e5 is possible, followed by knight c5, and if h6, g6. It's not that clear, but he still has attacking ideas with rook d3. And still, the problem is that black has this move e5. So it's not that easy to see exactly how he continues. Then he has ideas like rook g3, and if black takes the bishop, then queen g4. So he can attack like that.
Oh, that's a very interesting idea.
h6, g6.
So rook d3, e5, rook g3, takes queen g4. And then g6 you're saying?
Yeah, then now h takes g6.
Maybe h6.
h6, and if queen h5, king g7, and rook h8.
Yeah, and black is solid.
So he just moved his bishop.
These ideas are in the position. Okay, bishop b2. e5 here is very important for black that he has this. Otherwise, the bishop is too strong. But a lot of potential here for white. I mean, as long as this pawn is on the board and he has h6 in the position, black will have dynamic issues. No, I didn't paint the wall, Judith. Funny. It is a blue screen. It is attached, so I can like move it around and stuff. But yeah, it looks great. Thank you for noticing. Okay, let's go back to Daniel's game. And he seems to be putting on a demonstration here to put pressure on Wang Yu. I like his position. Bishop on h3 makes sense. Black is solid, but white has ideas to play h5 and g6 and kind of open black up on the light squares.
Yeah.
Alright, long castles on the board.
Looks like Vignesh is still solid. He played f5. Maybe if f4, knight d7, then the e4 square is also a target. And he can also play f4 himself and bring the queen to g5. It's all normal. But I think he's pretty comfortable here. I like his position.
Yeah, I like it too. I mean, look at this. f4 played in 6 seconds. I mean, he's playing confidently, I would say. Look, he's equal on the clock. And now I think at some point we're going to see queen d8 and queen g5, kind of a switch back to the king side here. I would honestly rather have black here. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I actually think that too.
Just a little bit easier to play. This knight on e5 is never going to get bothered with f4. I feel like, I mean, white is a grandmaster. I'm not going to criticize this play too much, but I feel like he really should have played f4 in the position to kind of make sure that the knight doesn't just stay here forever.
Yeah, f5 and f4 is quite a good idea, because then now you're preventing any f4 ideas, and the knight can stay on e5 forever, and it's a pretty nice hole for the knight.
Yeah, I think so.
So after maybe on move 18, move 19, he could have started playing f4. And then like bishop f3 at least.
Yeah,
Doesn't
I agree.
look too bad.
That's, I think, what I would have chosen as white. So we like Venetia's position here. I think he can try to start regrouping queen c7 to g7, and then maybe even push the g-pawn. Looks good. Timu says after f4, black can do your idea. Bring the knight to f6 and then target e4. But, well, the difference there, I feel like the knight is going to be on the light square, so white can just always kind of put pressure on with bishop f3. And, well, if black can then set up with doubling his rooks on the e-file, then yeah, probably that's going to be good for black too. But this also seems nice. Okay. But I'm sure Venetia's feeling good. He just got a half point against the board 2. So board 3, why should he be intimidated? Alright, let's go to Zviad's game. And he's taking on the board 4 of the match, which is either Zhao Junwan 2077 or Ding Liren 2780. Can't be sure. And he seems to be doing okay. I think well, he has the 2 bishops here, and what is white going to be trying to get? I mean, it just seems like after bishop c7, black is keeping both bishops, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, especially the light squared bishop is always just going to be annoying here for white.
Unless white wants to play g4 and knight fe5. At the same time, he has to pay a price with playing such pawn moves in front of his king. But it does, then he doesn't have the bishop pair anymore. And then he could think of following up with d4 and opening up the position.
Yeah, knight fe5 would be annoying because, well, the thing is, if we can force white to take on g6 there, we're happy, right? hg6, and the h-file is open. But I don't understand where to put black's queen after knight fe5. Because
you could,
queen b5, we have a4.
we could even play knight fe5 here, can we?
That would need to be definitely calculated. Knight fe5.
Then bishop takes d1, knight takes c6, bishop c2, knight fe5, f6, knight f3, bishop takes d3, rook takes e7, check, king f7, then the knight is hanging.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm going to show you guys this line that Christopher just calculated in like 2 seconds. So knight e5 we think is going to be good for black because of this move bishop c2. And then f6, and this really forces white to give up the pawn. So knight f3, take, and then rook e6 is even worse because then both pieces are hanging. Nice job there, Christopher. I feel like you're in good form for your tournament.
I think so.
Calculating well. I actually really enjoy doing the commentary because it forces you to watch the games and like try and calculate stuff. It's kind of good training. So white is going into the tank here. I mean, he's really trying to figure it out. Because g4, like you said, is a move that can really backfire. Okay, Christopher, questions in the chat is, so your tournament hasn't started yet, right? It's starting tomorrow. And who are the players? I mean, is a lot of the Dallas Grandmasters there that are playing?
There are some GMs. I think there was a 2650. I think there's about 60-something players in my section. So it's not a small tournament. There's some other kids like Arthur Gu. There's Yu Yang Wang and Andrew Hong. There, I guess I'm around just below the middle of the field. Around the middle of the field.
Oh wow!
It's still it's a pretty strong tournament.
But you're moving up. I mean, you're used to being in like the lower half, right?
Yeah, maybe I'm just below the middle of the field.
But now you're going to approach the middle, and then soon you'll be playing down your first round, and then you'll have to earn your chance to play up in round 2.
Yeah.
Right, once you're rating. I mean, what's your FIDE at right now going into the event?
2269, I see.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, in some tournaments you'll already be in the upper half, but I'm sure you'll cross 2300 soon, and then you're gonna have to start beating other youngsters trying to work their way up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so white is really burning a lot of clock here. That's good to see. I think this position is one of those positions where if white doesn't find something, black is gonna easily take over. Let's jump back to Shak's game. Seems like he just got f4 in the position.
And I guess his point is that after e takes f4, rook takes c5, then queen takes c. So against e takes f4, just queen takes f4. And against rook e4, then queen g3. And if rook takes c4, bishop takes f6.
Yeah, that's a pretty cooperative variation there.
Yeah, it is, but it's still not that easy for black to find a move after queen takes f4. So probably better is just to take the pawn on d6. Then rook takes d6. Rook takes d6, rook takes d6, queen takes d6, f takes e5, then queen d1 check. So after rook takes d6, then probably f takes e5, and against rook takes d5, c takes d5, rook takes d5, rook takes d5, queen takes d5.
I'm with you.
Then e takes f6, and then queen d1 check is the thing, and against king h2, queen takes h5 check.
So black is probably okay in this line, right? He also has knight d3 check
So,
if we have king f2.
So now I think rook f1 is smarter. He's just gonna keep the rook because the rook takes d5 doesn't work because of the variation we were calculating. So he wants to put more pressure on the f6 pawn query. Against f takes e5, his idea I guess is queen f3. And if queen d6, bishop takes e5. And if rook takes e5, queen a8 check. And if queen takes e5, queen f8. But that's a pretty nice variation. It's not forced or anything. But it seems like that's a pretty creative idea from...
Yeah, I like rook f1 a lot. I mean, black here has some problems to solve, but, you know, the game is really simplified. I mean, Ju still has like 7 minutes left, so... So far, Shak's strategy, which I would argue has not worked out for him, is kind of keep the game very, very complicated, lots of pieces on the board, run both sides down on the clock, and then start opening things up and hope for the best. He got burned in round 1. In round 2, it really worked out for him. Here he's taking a different approach where it feels like he's just trying to play more solid. But yeah, position's going to get very interesting very soon because it seems like either black solves the problems or not.
I think queen e6 is a smart move here for black. And if queen f3, worst case scenario, black has f5. There might be something better than queen takes f5, but if queen takes f5, queen takes f5, rook takes f5, then like...
So we gotta switch...
like at least knight e6, and at least black seems pretty solid there. But it's not forced against... After queen f3, white is threatening the f6 pawn, but at least black has f5. So it looks like he's gonna follow what I said. Okay, h6.
Yeah, I agree there.
So
Queen f3, f5. We're going to switch to Daniel's game because I hear from the chat that black offered a draw in this position. Very interesting. And so, looks like game was agreed.
Oh, just draw?
Very interesting. Well, that's a good result. I mean, any half point we can take off Wang Yu is successful, in my opinion. So I don't blame Daniel at all for agreeing to a draw there, especially since I'm not even sure if objectively... Well, clearly he must be better, right? Because black offered a draw. Why would he do that unless he felt like... Because I think if black had an advantage here, Wang Yu would try to put it away. Well, white has a lot of pawns, so... Yeah, kind of unclear endgame. I'm not sure.
They certainly could have fought on.
Yeah.
I think that was I would probably, if I was Wang Yu, I would probably certainly not offer a draw.
Right.
Against for Nera this game, it's a hard decision. In such an unclear endgame to go.
I imagine he spent a lot of time here because he's down to 4 minutes. He probably spent like 5 minutes thinking about it.
Maybe considering the time situation, it was okay. But if it was equal on time, I think it would be the best to certainly fight. It's usually the best to just fight on to the very end. But he was down on time by like 5 minutes. So I guess he just wanted to be practical and not like the position is better. It's quite unclear.
Although I'm not sure if he was down on time. I think he just spent a lot of time thinking about the draw offer and then decided to accept it. But I think maybe what happened was he's looking at the positions on our other boards and he realizes that things are not that bad. Shock is up on time and, I mean, has some dynamic advantages for sure. We'll see if he can pull that off. Zviad, I think, is doing okay, but he's up on the clock a little bit. Maybe not doing that great, but definitely he should be expected to outplay his opponent. And Vinesh is objectively doing well, although now he is a little bit down on the clock. But yeah, I think the decision to accept the draw, I think it was the right one. Because that position is very, very tricky with the two knights. I mean, he could easily play on and lose. And not like blunder a knight fork, but just kind of get outplayed because the two knights can very easily outplay a rook in this kind of scenario.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid choice. Very interesting by Black to offer a draw there. I would not expect that from a 2700. Like, you never imagine Shock offering any draws when he has two knights left on the board.
No.
Right? It could be two knights versus a queen. He's not offering a draw. he's gonna try every last chance.
Yeah.
But okay, I switched to Vinesh's position because I really like it. I mean, he just has a full bind here. It's totally up to him to decide if he wants to try and open up the position on the king side and go for g5, g4, or rook h5. Black is in full control.
Yeah, I think he went for a smart idea with queen h6, tried to play rook h5, and he just made sure to overprotect the f4 pawn so we can get the rook there. And he wants to create some weaknesses and start a king side attack. I think I like the way he's playing.
Yeah, me too. Okay, going back to Shock's game.
G4 from Du Jianggu.
Oh, White played g4.
I wonder if he missed that.
Huh. So we can't take. Queen is hanging.
Not like it's so bad. At worst case scenario, Black can just move his rook back. I wonder if he could play rook g5, rook takes f4, knight takes f3 check, rook 1 takes f3, rook takes g4 check, followed by rook takes f4. I wonder if that worked. And if
f6. I mean, I think this is. I don't think White has solved any issues yet. I mean, like queen g5 and then h5, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even queen g7. No, this is still good for Black.
Also against rook g5, White didn't have to take the pawn like king h1. Okay, rook f6, reasonable. Queen f2. I guess his idea is after queen g5, h4, so you just play g5. Yeah, I still think Vignesh is better.
Clearly better. I mean, full control.
Yeah. He's gonna play something like queen h3 or queen g7 and rook h6.
Let's go back to Shock's game. We've gone into an endgame there. And Tom was mentioning this was interesting in the chat. Rook takes f6. Queen g4, queen h3. So he forces the queen trade. And we get this endgame where maybe Black's king still has issues with this h6 pawn. Very double-edged, bishop versus knight.
Yeah, but Nomadov is up on time, which I think is important.
Yeah, a big time advantage here. So this is a easy endgame to misplay for both sides. So I like the time advantage. Okay, Timu is saying rook takes e5 and queen c5. Oh yeah, White can make the sacrifice. Rook takes e5, queen takes c5. And that would actually put a lot of pressure on Black. So I hope we don't see that, because I want Vinesh to keep his knight on e5 very secure. Okay, rook b1. So he's pretending to activate. That's fine. Maybe rook h6 here for Black.
Yeah, now rook takes c5 is no longer possible after rook h6. He also improves his position.
I like that. I think White missed the chance there to kind of destabilize Black's position, especially in time trouble.
I think h5 was reasonable. I think this is also good. Rook h6 now. Now he has the h file, and now he's creating
And
king
so,
threat.
is rook h1 bad here for white? What's going on? Vinesh
Rook
really needs to
h1.
win this game.
Yeah, rook h1, then at least rook takes h1 and rook f6, followed by rook h6, and then queen h8 or something, and you can get full control over the h file. Then rook h3, rook g3, and then the dark squares are totally out of control. The dark squares are super weak, and it looks like black is just almost mating there, and he's completely winning.
This better be good for black, because a lot of times it's better to just kind of start with rook h6 before opening the h file, just to kind of keep the tension. He took on g4 right away, so I'm hoping he has something concrete in mind, like you were saying, after rook to h1. Well, I guess we're going to find out here. Now let's see. I think it's an excellent chance here to really just get back in the match. If Vinesh wins this point for us, it's huge. Shak here seems to have won a pawn, so his position is looking excellent. Black is playing for the blockade there, but I don't think that's going to work out. Zviad's still playing. He's got knight versus bishop. Objectively, he's doing okay, not great. Daniel has already drawn. So we're going to stick with Vinesh's game, because I think we have a chance for a big upset here. Now he's burning his clock, so he's looking for something concrete. And we're going to hope he finds it. But yeah, maybe just rook f6 here, or maybe take and then rook f6. Just kind of swinging to the h file.
Yeah.
Knight g4. Ooh.
If
okay.
Takes f3. Or does he have something different in mind? Then king g1, queen a1, then rook e1 is possible. So I wonder what he has in mind.
King g1? Well, that's clearly what he was calculating, and I have faith in Vinesh. I think he's going for it, and he has experience. You saw what he did in Super Saturday. He upset a ton of players.
I did. Wait, okay.
But what is the idea?
I still don't know. Because it seems like in the end of variation he's... Oh, I think I see it. If takes, f3 check, king g1, queen a1 check, rook e1, queen takes e1, queen takes e1, now f2 check, queen takes f2, rook takes h1. I actually think this was a brilliant idea from Vignesh.
That is brilliant. And then we have rook takes h1, intermediate move at the end.
So
wow, what a combination. Alright guys, knight takes g4, we gotta get this as the move of the week. This is a huge combo. This is not easy to calculate at all.
Yeah. So his opponent probably played a good move, rook takes h6. The point is after knight takes f2, then rook e6. And at least he gets counter play in this position.
Yeah, it's a good practical choice. So knight f2, rook e6, huh?
Yeah.
And then black has to figure out what to do. Ugh, this is ugly.
Especially with such low time from Vignesh. It's not easy to find the best moves.
Well, queen can just move here. Because check king f7 and you don't have rook f6, the queen will cover.
Yeah.
But, oh man, that's scary. Excellent choice by his opponent. And he's going to have to... But knight takes h6, rook e6 is still tough.
Yeah. He's really low on time, so he needs to make a move soon.
Yeah, maybe knight e3 check. Yeah, he really has to hurry up here. Yeah, this is tough. Okay, so Shak did win his game.
A knight e3 check should do it, yeah.
Knight e3 looks okay, right?
Yeah. I wonder if he's gonna play it or...
Wait, what is white doing against knight e3 check? I don't understand.
Oh, Shak won? I don't know. I wonder if... Oh, he played knight e6. I wonder if it was a missed opportunity.
I think so, but he was just low on time there, so he had no choice.
Not like it's hopeless here, but probably the wrong decision.
Yeah, I feel like he just takes, and
yeah, I think you can just take on d6, then rook d8 check. Then at least rook f8, so not like he's losing or anything, but I don't think he's winning either.
Yeah, he doesn't have the win here, unfortunately. Damn, this was so close, but this rook takes h6, he had to... He had to play knight f2, but it looks so dangerous that I don't really blame him from taking here and just trying to keep it solid. But maybe knight e3 check was doable there for black.
Yeah, then queen takes e3 and rook e6, so it still looks dangerous.
Oh, I see. So kind of the same line.
You played queen takes f8, not king takes f8. I wonder what the reason for that
Queen
was.
takes c5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this looks lost, unfortunately. Too many pawns in the queen endgame. So Vinesh was really close, but his opponent found a nice trick at the end. I'm going to switch to Zviad's game because this is probably losing. Zviad here still definitely has chances. I mean, he's a little bit down on the clock, which is not great, but okay. So what do you think? d4. Yeah, Vinesh did lose that game. His opponent forced the queen trade. So, tough. That was a point the hackers really needed. And Vinesh was very, very close. I mean, he found knight takes g4 there was an amazing shot, but just wasn't enough. I think he's going to be really bummed about that one because he definitely had that in the bag. I mean, completely outplayed his opponent.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we still have a chance. I mean, we're only down by 2, so Zviad wins this one. And then we'll be within a point. So this is a critical game now, going into the last round. And, yeah, position's complicated.
Yeah. And against e takes d4, then rook c6, and followed by like rook e6 and queen h5 check. I think Zviad has to be quite careful here. It looks like white has a lot of threats. Still king g8, so it plays queen b3 check. But if bishop g3 follows, still knight e5.
Yeah, it looks very hairy for black's king here.
I don't see anything really concretely wrong yet, but black has to be quite cautious over his king right now. But he does have this pawn at the same time, and white, not like white's king is completely safe either.
Yeah, okay, rook e1.
Okay, I think okay, check, yeah, check. And then knight e5. I think this is solid, this is good, I think. And if king g3, knight c5, then like queen b4.
Yeah, I'm liking Zviad's position here. I like what he's doing.
Yeah.
Queen f3, okay, endgame.
Okay.
Ooh, okay, bread and butter time. Knight e5, and then maybe rook a8 next move, and just start taking pawns. Oh,
okay,
d3, even
d3.
better.
Yeah.
Okay, white's gonna try and exchange this knight. I imagine bishop d4, bishop g3 is coming.
So he's gonna threaten rook takes a3. Zviad might
rook a4,
be winning here.
Nice move. Yeah, I mean, black is definitely ahead, and he's going to try and convert. Both sides down to 20 seconds.
Bishop c5 check? Am I missing something?
Oh, no.
Did he blunder?
Oh, my God. Oh, man, bishop c5 is just killing.
It's just waiting to be played.
Brutal.
Oh.
Oh, he just blundered that.
Wait, 93? Then didn't another blunder just happen? What am I seeing?
Whoa, what is going on? Oh my god. Both sides. So Ding Loren is not infallible, and black is winning again. We're going to win this f5 pawn.
I think this should make the worst blunders list.
Oh man, what a game. And like someone just playing through the results just going to see, okay, Zviad won, easy endgame, no drama. But this is lost. I mean, that f5 pawn is not going to be defended. And he's going to take his sweet time here. He is not going to allow any kind of bishop sacrifice. He has the knight, so this is going to be... this should be a smooth conversion because... yeah, I just won by resignation. Wow, okay, lucky one there for the hackers. And that brings the lead to 6.5, 5.5, right? Okay, so we actually won a round. And we've shown the pandas that we are not afraid of who they are and everything they represent. But instead, we're going to have a fighting chance going into round 4. So round 4, we need 2.5 points to tie the match, 3 points to win the match. I actually think it's doable. Because this is the final one. This is where our lineup should be demonstrating its full power. Because we have board 1 versus board 1. Board 2 and board 3, we have a rating advantage. Board 4, they have the rating advantage, but Vinesh is clearly underrated at like 1900 FIDE or whatever he's listed at. So I think board 4 is a pretty much equal toss-up. Both players have been playing well. But boards 1 through 3, we have this big edge. So I feel like the hackers actually have a fighting chance here.
Yeah.
Okay, so the final round starts, I believe, in 5 minutes. We can check out some of the other matches going on. We have Dreyev playing against Melik. And before we look at the game, Christopher, I want you to guess what phase of the game it's in. Middle game, opening.
I've already started looking at that game, so I
Fair
know
enough.
what phase it is.
I'm sure you would have guessed right anyways.
I guess. I would probably guess the end game because it's a Dreyev game and also it's a Melik game. Especially since Dreyev was playing, I would probably guess it would be an end game.
Right, and yeah, I mean, both these guys, I mean, Melik, he likes to attack, but he's a Russian, or not a Russian guy, but he's a Soviet chess school guy. He likes endgames as well. We got an endgame in this game on move 16. Black played queen e4, and White immediately traded. It only took him 1 second to trade queens. Probably because it's still a theoretical position, but still.
Yeah, I think it is a theoretical position.
And, Melik, is he down a pawn? Somehow he lost a pawn in the endgame. Dreyev is just too good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see how it happened.
Yeah, f3, knight g3 seems like he just blundered because he spent 3 minutes after that. Well, alright. And now black is trying to convert this one. So, Shaq plays Wang Yu, and Shaq will be black, most likely. So that'll be a tough game to win because Wang Yu, I mean, I mentioned earlier, he's one of the most solid guys around. You know, the winning Olympiad team, the Chinese team a few years ago, they had Wang Yu on board 1, Ding Liren on board 2, and I believe they had Yu Yangyi on board 3 and Wei Yi on board 4. Could be wrong. But you see, they put Wang Yu on board 1 specifically because they know this guy's a total draw master, super solid, and his job was to just draw his games against the elite, whether he's playing Aronian, Kramnik, whoever's on board 1 in the Olympiad, Magnus, of course, while the rest of the guys just like turn on their gears and pull out a bunch of victories. So in the year they won, I think Wang Yu did as expected, super solid, and then Yu Yangyi and Ding Liren, these guys just racked up the wins on boards 2 and 3. So Wang Yu is going to be tough nut to crack, but on board 2 we have Daniel playing against Ju Wenjun. I think Daniel is going to have an edge there, although he will be black as well. Azoria will be playing white against the board 3, Grandmaster Zhu. And Vinesh will also have white against the board 4. So hopefully we can get a lot of wins in this round.
I think we need, I guess we're down a point right now. We're down a point. So if we to tie the match, we need 2.5, 1.5. To win the match, we need 3-1.
3-1, exactly.
So it seems quite doable. We're not down by that much. And seems like...
I think it is doable. I mean, I think if our lineup is truly the more powerful one, they're going to prove it here.
Oh, yeah. I meant that it's quite doable.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, we'll see. The matches should be starting in about 1 minute as our players get ready, get pumped up, ready to bring it. And yeah, we'll see if the hackers can pull it off.
Yeah, I think we have decent chances.
I think so. And clearly Daniel made the right choice there, accepting the draw, because Vinesh technically should have won his game, and if he had, then we would actually be leading by 1.
Yeah.
And so that was very close from happening. But okay, last round starting, so we're going to see if the hackers can pull it off and bring it, follow up their clutch performance in the Super Saturday. Alright, here the games have started. D4 from Ju Wenjun and Naroditsky, knight f6. And we'll see what he goes for. Nimzo or King's Indian it is. Alright, and Ju Wenjun, she played the fianchetto. This is her main line. It's going to be solid. What will we see here? C4, knight c3. She's going to be choosing a move. And it's up to Daniel also to
gambit, okay.
choose whether he wants to play d6 or d5. Where are you seeing the Benko?
Oh, sorry. I was checking the Vignesh game.
Ah, okay. Very interesting. So d6 and knight c3 on the board. Let's go to Vinesh's game. His opponents played the Benko. And this is a sharp choice. So if Vinesh is well prepared here, which I think he is, because he's playing really quickly and he's playing the main line, he's going to be up a pawn. That's going to be good. But the Benko is a good opening for rapid and blitz play because black's ideas are very natural. Just put the pieces on the queen side and look for tactics. But white is playing fast. It feels like Vinesh is well prepared here. So I like this move a4. I think queen e2 is also a move.
Yeah.
And I like what he's doing here so far.
It's certainly not an easy position to play for white. I think he needs to be somewhat patient from what I know. But at the same time, objectively, white should be better if he knows all the ideas and what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's see what Shaka is doing, and he is improvising. He's chosen the double fianchetto setup against the Queen's Indian, and this is definitely a thing, so it's not like he's just inventing this opening. It's considered a little bit dubious, just slightly, but I think for rapid it's a perfectly reasonable choice. And he's actually decided to just play a kind of hippopotamus here. He's just going to maybe play h6 and a6 and queen e7 and just kind of load up. And, interesting enough, this is how you play for a win at elite levels. Because Wang Yu is super well-prepared player. Any of the sharp main lines, Wang Yu is going to know his way in there and out of there. He's going to be able to get a solid position. So you have to just kind of give your opponent a lot of space, look for a way to strike back with e5, and try to get a structure that is not going to be exactly well known.
Probably a smart choice for him. They have to avoid all the main lines against a very well prepared player.
Yeah, I mean, this is the way you kind of have to go. I mean, it's a risky approach. There are definitely cases where this can backfire, and we saw it backfire in round 1 against the Chinese board 4. But you live by the sword and you die by the sword. And I think this is the type of play that has allowed Mamedyarov to reach 2800. And so I think it would be a mistake for him to try and change his style. I think he has to continue playing sharp and putting pressure on his opponents. Hopefully it works out in this game. Okay, let's go to Zviad's game.
Apparently this came from a Petrov.
A Petrov? Very interesting.
I turned into some Benoni type structure with this move d5 on move 9. The point being is that after knight takes d5, bishop takes h7 check, followed by queen takes d5, so he didn't go for this. From then it went into a Benoni type structure. But without the bishop on g7. Now the bishop is on e7. So at the same time, now white has inserted h3 and g4.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems sort of interesting sort of position.
Yeah, I like what Zviad has done here. I think he's kind of outplayed his opponent. It's interesting that Black had spent a minute here on h takes g6. I don't exactly understand. Was he really thinking about fg and allowing knight to g5 and knight e6? I mean, that can't be right. Maybe he's in the bathroom or something. It's like, why is he thinking on this decision? But I like White's position here. He has a space advantage. Dark squared bishop is not on g7 as it usually is in the Benoni. Here it's much more passive. White is better. White is definitely better.
Yeah. It might look weakening to play h3 and g4, but it's really not that weakening. And if f5, Black will create holes in his position, like this e6 square. So I think this is better for White.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to have these weaknesses. It's another thing if Black is going to be able to exploit it. But he's trying knight h7. This is not an awkward move. He wants to play either f5 or knight to g5 and kind of try to take advantage of White's advances here. But I definitely like White there. Okay, let's go to Daniel's game. Daniel is playing for the initiative.
He just played f3. I guess he's preparing e4, and he's also stopping takes and knight e4. So it seems quite reasonable and sensible. I think once this e4 break comes, I think Daniel will be doing okay. I mean, it seems like Daniel will be a complicated game.
But no, we're playing Black here. So once e4 comes,
yeah.
we have to make sure we're at least holding.
Okay, yeah, it looks like Daniel did that with rook a d8, if e4, d takes e4, f takes e4, queen takes e5. This queen is unprotected.
Trap of the century. Let's see if she misses it.
I wonder if she's just gonna go rook a d1 and prepare e4. I don't know.
Yeah, rook a d1 seems like the most natural move here. Then maybe he gets out of the way, either queen h5 or queen e6. I think Black is fine. I don't think Black is better, but definitely fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to Shak's game. He's playing fast as usual and putting a lot of pressure on his opponent here.
It looks like it went into some sort of Grunfeld type structure.
Right.
A double fianchetto. I wonder if... Oh, yeah, it's his move. He does have to be a little careful here with this a7 pawn, and also if the rook tries to defend it, the c6 pawn is hanging. So it does also seem like White has some ideas. I mean, he could think of playing something like a5. Then queen b3 is an idea for White.
Right.
So we're seeing how to do with this. He's going to play a6 instead. I'm pretty sure this is smarter than a5. He doesn't want to overextend. Also, it weakens less squares. And against queen b3 takes and queen d6. And also against knight d2 there. And what if knight d2? Knight d2 there to try to go to c4. If b5, knight e4.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, Black is kind of holding in the position, but I would take White here. I mean, bishop h3 looks extremely annoying, and I think Black is under some pressure here, but we'll see. We'll see. You know, Wang Yu, he has some venom, right? He's not just playing for a draw in all his games. If he senses some blood, he knows how to take it. Let's go to Vinesh's game, and he's starting to spend some time. He played this move rook a3, which is pretty thematic, so the rook is not hanging. h3, knight b5, b3. Yeah, I mean, White's a pawn up, but Black still has his typical Benko style counterplay. I think. I don't know.
f5, knight g5 is the idea.
Yeah, f5. Wow, he's played it, so he has no fear. Maybe he felt like he had no choice. I don't understand. I mean, c4 is usually the idea, but this allows White's knights to come in, so not often that great for Black. Okay, and I want to see knight g5 very quickly from Vinesh. I mean, this has to be the best move, so let's go for it.
I guess he's just making sure, but it's not necessarily a good sign when you're making sure for moves that probably seem obviously that they're the best move, but you just want to double and triple check. Not like double and triple checking is a bad thing, but I wonder how confident he is now.
Yeah, probably the last game was upsetting because he knows he was winning there. I mean, I'm sure he does, and to lose, it's definitely going to be difficult to bounce back. But this is the one point that we could really use from him in this match, because yeah, I mean, but okay, I think we still have good chances here. 3 points, we win the game. I mean, we win the match, and we're in good shape. Okay, we've had some developments on Shaq's position. So white took on c6, bishop h3, and now rook c1. And black does not have rook to c8 because of this bishop. But I feel like things are not that bad here.
Yeah.
So now the pawn structure is symmetrical. And black f6 on e5. These are kind of blocking the bishop, but they're very, very solid. And these pawns are really restricting the knight on f3. So this endgame, I think, is reasonably comfortable for black.
So knight d2, probably a smart move. He's preparing takes knight b3. And if queen takes b3, knight takes b3, he can get an eye on a couple of the dark squares. But then there's rook takes c1 and the e4 pawn is hanging. So I wonder if Mamdeev can just take the queen right now. So okay, he does. I wonder if does white have to play a takes b3? That's probably good for us.
Yeah, so knight takes b3 would be a pawn sack. Rook c1, bishop takes e4. Maybe he can go for a knight c5.
Yeah. But then like bishop f3, f5. I mean, I think Mamdeev is doing just fine there. It's a complicated position.
Yeah, I think black should be okay here. Daniel, he's pushing. He's gotten his pawn to h4. This pawn could come in with h3, but white's king is not going to be feeling the danger just yet. He decides to keep the tension. He gives white a chance to play g4 if she wants to, but I'm not sure. Not sure if she will. Okay, things are tense. Let's bounce back to Zviad's game. He's planted his rook on e6. So I feel like he's probably feeling good about that.
Yeah.
Black managed to get f5 in.
He's also threatening the d6 pawn, so I still think he has a good position. Knight e5.
Yeah, white definitely is feeling the pressure here. I mean, we have some weaknesses on the king side that need tending. But this rook on e6?
Yeah.
What are the odds that this rook eventually gives itself up for a minor piece?
Let me just say 1 out of 10.
Oh, so pretty unlikely. 10%.
Yeah.
I feel like 7 times out of 10, this rook ends up either being captured by a knight or bishop and white recaptures, or find some way to sack, like on e5 or f6.
Actually, yeah, I guess that might be more correct.
But we'll see. Time-wise, we're doing fine, up a minute. Seems like all the players are doing okay on the clock except for Vinesh. He's down on time, and his position is not looking good. He took on f5. He didn't play the knight g5, which we both thought was kind of critical. Rook f5, queen e2. So he's basically given back his extra pawn. But usually this doesn't look good for white. I mean, king is kind of weak now on the light squares. And this knight b5 is an annoying move, because now when he takes back with the knight, our knight on f3 has to be pinned and kept protected by the king.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is not looking great for white. If Vinesh loses, we'll need 2.5 out of 3 from other guys, which I think is not impossible. but be really nice for Vinesh to score here.
Yeah, even a draw from this position would help.
Draw would be great. Alright, Zviad has won a pawn. He played knight takes e5, bishop takes e5, rook takes g6. Seems like a sacrifice. I wonder what Black's idea here is.
I mean, he could be thinking of queen h4, but then g5 is possible. And if you take the pawn, like queen h5. Well, actually, I guess this is his idea to pick queen h4.
Yeah,
okay,
what
then
happens on
f4?
g5? f4 maybe, huh?
Oh yeah, f4 for Black. Yeah.
Yeah, that's annoying. Because then he's going to take the g5 pawn with his knight. And f3 is going to be a big deal. So Black is playing very dynamically here.
Not an easy situation.
No, not at all. Because during the game, you don't know what the evaluation is, right? You don't know if your opponent has sacrificed the pawn correctly or if there's some obvious refutation. You're just trying to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
f4, well, he's doing what this guy did not do in the last game, right? Which is playing f4 before Black has a chance to kind of put the pawn in. I feel like it's an important defensive move.
It's like Shark's game looks like he's doing okay. Looks like it's some sort of imbalance, which White does have this passed pawn that's not that far advanced. Black can go for ideas like f5, and he can start pushing the pawns.
Yeah, this one still has some edge to it because if Black is able to win the pawn on b2, which is easier said than done, but sometimes these pawns end up weak if Black's pieces get active, then you'll have 4 versus 3, and that'll be tough to win, but very doable with minor pieces. If White is able to defend the pawn, he can create winning chances because he can get this outside passed pawn. So this can be very double-edged. And I think all the results are still possible here. Okay, Daniel. She took the pawn on h4, knight h5 was played. f5.
Yeah, it seems like he has decent prey.
Decent. Yeah.
In some cases, he can prepare f4.
That's right. I mean, he wants to kind of use this weakness on the king side and try and open things up. I think he's doing okay. It's definitely a good practical choice, but yeah, I mean, of course, all these games, our players have to take risks if they're trying to create some kind of winning chances.
Yeah.
Okay, Zviad, he's under pressure, but we'll see. Bishop d4 was played. Queen f3, makes sense. Rook a8.
Bishop d2.
Well, he's covered e1. That's very important. All these entry squares are covered.
That's the good news. I mean, of course it looks like Black has a lot of threats, but I don't see anything really concretely wrong with his position.
That's right. Black's position looks like well developed, but what does he do next?
Yeah.
I mean, the rule of strategy typically states you have to get this knight on h7 into the game.
Yeah. Basically prove your worst piece. But if Black does nothing, at some point White will play g5, and then he will have to play rook f7 and knight f8 to try to get into the game. At the same time, that would trap the rook. That's not good. But then White could play rook e6 right away.
Yeah, I mean,
so we completely solved that problem.
But we are hitting the d6 pawn, so...
Yeah, that's another good thing. So he's just gonna trade the rook on
rook f6.
g6.
Well, that's good. At least our rook is not getting trapped. My prediction seems to be... won't seem to be working out. This rook on e6 will eventually be traded for the rook. But, or maybe he'll play rook takes g7 and shock the world.
The chances of that happening are 1 in 10,000.
10,000. Fair enough. I think your odds are good there. Okay, let's jump back to Vanesh's game. Oh, he's taking on f5 there. Very interesting. He's grabbing another pawn. And he's really leaving his king with some holes, but if it works out, it's going to be good.
Looks like Vignesh is still worse. His opponent can play 96, followed by 94, and it's not that clear what exactly Vignesh is going to do against that.
Yeah, this is definitely just a losing position for white because the pin on the knight is just incredibly uncomfortable. The rook on a3 is now just misplaced. Black's position, I mean, this is like the ideal Benko basically. Black has played a model game. Yeah, I mean, the board for Zhao is really just, I mean, fantastic performance today. I mean, he beat Shock in round 1. That's huge result, you know, no one would have expected. I believe he did lose to Zoria, but he could have won that game as well. And then he lost to Daniel, and now if he wins this one, he'll have 2 out of 4 on the day. Okay, Daniel's looking good. He's gotten the strongest knight this world has ever seen on e4. So he's just playing a masterpiece worthy of Nimzovich himself. I think he's still down a pawn, but it just doesn't matter in this position because white has very, very little she can do with her extra pawn. Black has a full blockade on the light squares, and now he's going to try and figure it out how he can make it more than just a blockade to try and push for the win here.
What game are you looking at?
Sorry, this is Naroditsky's game.
Naroditsky's game. Ah, yeah. I think he's figured out everything pretty well. He managed to figure out how to get rid of white's light square bishop. So now he also managed to, I'm not sure about f4, but f4 did prevent a move 22 for white. It did prevent Brack's f4, and now Brack got the e4 square. Knight g5, clearly not a move that you would really want to play. I guess he wanted to open up the bishop after bishop takes g5 with f takes g5. Right. I think Brack basically has complete domination over the light squares. I mean, he is down the pawn, but I don't really think it's a useful pawn. I mean, these pawns on h4 and h2 don't really do anything besides the h4 pawn defends g5. So in my opinion, I don't think white is really up a pawn in a way. I think Naroditsky is doing well, but his time situation, he is down on time.
Yeah, the time advantage unfortunately is very concrete, and he's just playing knight d6, which is he's daring Ju to get that knight off the board while she still has the chance. Very interesting psychological move there, because if she takes on d6, she's gonna have problems on the h file defending the h4 pawn, and that might be bad. But this is probably the biggest decision of the game right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Shaq has actually really improved his position because his king is coming in, and white's pawn on b4 is looking more of a liability rather than a strength. Now we'll see if he can really do anything with it, but as the clock runs down, you never know. Okay, Zviad. So g5, rook takes f5, rook f1. Black is trying to come in with the pieces. White is trying to stay solid. Queen h7 was just played.
Now rook e1, so he's going to trade the rooks.
Trying to trade off all the rooks in the position. I mean, the more trades that occur, two things happen. One, white gets closer to kind of realizing the extra pawn, but black also gets more chances for play against white's king because suddenly the queen can start entering in on squares like c2, in the future.
Yeah, especially the light squares.
Right. So
white has a Dr. bishop.
The game is being taken to its conclusion. I hope Zviad can make the most use out of his extra pawn. Right now, we're really counting on him and Daniel to win their games. Shock, I think, is definitely fine, but playing for a win is definitely optimistic. Or at least expecting him to win is optimistic, but we'll see. And Vinesh here is definitely in big trouble, but he's going to try and swindle it. It's going to be hard because he's just so low on time, and so far Zhao has just played very, very well outside of the time pressure zone.
Yeah. Anything can happen, but I think after bishop e5 check, if king g2 e3, it looks very bad for Vignesh.
Yeah, probably just losing here. But okay, he'll keep fighting and try to swindle it out. He's definitely done that before. Daniel's game, turns out b3 was played, so she did not take the knight. Knight went back to e4, rook f4, and now c5. So here we go. This is Daniel trying to make more than just a blockade. He understands, of course, the match situation. He needs to be playing for a win, 100%. A draw here would be very, very bad.
I have some news in the moment of game. It looks like he sort of tricked his opponent. Now he has this really strong pass pawn on d3, and the rook can go behind it.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Shak has he's shown his class here. I mean, to outplay an opponent like Wang Yu, very, very difficult. But yeah, I mean, okay, rook h8, that seems like the only move, right? Otherwise, the pawn cannot be stopped.
A rook d4? Is this just completely winning for Brack? Oh, rook e8 check and rook e1.
Right, still has rook e and rook e1. Miracle resource. But our rook is going to be active. Our king is coming to f5. Some chances here. Definitely some chances. So if he can win this one, that'll be a big result, because then that takes off a lot of pressure off Zviad and Daniel. They're both playing for the win, but objectively, you know, they're not like better. So it's going to be, we still have chances to win. Okay, Vinesh has resigned his game. Black's position is just too much there. Unfortunately for him, he had a great draw against Ju and June and could have won that game. Definitely could have won. I mean, he could have scored 2 out of 4, but you know, these games are very, very tough, and it's hard enough to find moves that aren't blunders when you're down to like 30 seconds. It's another story to find strong moves and find accurate wins.
Yeah.
Okay, I switched back to Zviad's game. Looks like Black has just grabbed his pawn on b2.
Now I wonder if White can just take on d6.
Yeah, I'm wondering that too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep an eye on keeping an eye on Shaq's game, as he has gotten his rook behind the pass pawn. But I'm very curious why he didn't put the king on f5 here.
Yeah. Even I thought that was the best move.
And then,
I mean, d2, king e4.
He spent some time on rook d4, but yeah, king f5, king f3.
Okay, now it's in king d. Oh. No, okay, yeah, king d5.
Seems like White's king is just close enough to hold the draw.
Yeah. King c4, I think, but then king e3. Maybe f5 is actually smart. No, I don't think that works.
f5, king e3.
Yeah.
King c4. I mean, minimum White has check and comes back. Yeah, I think White is out of danger on this one, unfortunately. We'll see if Shaq can drum up some magic, but objectively, I don't know. Looks fine for White. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Okay, Zviad, he took on d6. Queen c2, Black has come in, rook e2. Bishop d4, bishop b1. And White has kept the extra pawn. Man, this is a tough game to play. I mean, Black is really putting a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah.
I imagine he'll just drop back now. Queen g6 check.
I give credit to Azoria to defending, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, he's really played, I think, a fine game so far, just to kind of hold under the pressure.
But he is low on time now, so I wonder how he's going to deal with it. F5, prophylaxis. He's trying to stop Queen g6.
Yeah, I like this move. I mean, I definitely feel good about White's position here.
Okay.
See how that continues.
94, just keeping things under control. I like the way how he's dealt with this.
Yes, it looks good for White. I mean, long term, if we get some kind of bishop endgame, we have our pawns on the light squares, which is nice. I think Zviad is a type of guy, he's always thinking about long-term things like that. He's dreaming of this endgame, right? He just puts his king on e4, and Black just has 0 counterplay.
Yeah. Right now I'm looking at the Daniel game. Looks like he got his pawn back and he's still solid.
Wow, Shaq is down 2 pawns in the king and pawn endgame, but I think he's okay. He's winning it back. So Shaq's game seems very, very likely to be drawn. He played this f4 move. Might have been an accurate move. In fact, to go into the king and pawn endgame, I think it's actually kind of good that he made the draw there. Although maybe he missed a chance earlier. And so now we need 2 wins from other guys to tie this match.
It's certainly possible.
I think so, actually, because Daniel, he's doing well. He seems to have more pawns in the position.
Zoria's really low on time.
No, equal pawns in Daniel's game, but his pawns are just much healthier. Is Zoria... Okay, we're expecting Daniel to win there. Wow,
this must
E4.
be really nerve-wracking for Zoria to play under such time pressure in this position. I wonder if he can hold together. But it looks like Black has quite a reasonable position. I don't think Zoria is doing too badly. He just played Queen c4. Looks like he still has things sort of under control in terms of not losing the game and not getting checkmated.
Yeah, but at this one, a draw is equal to a loss at this point.
Yeah. So we sort of need to win.
So a4. I still like White's chances here. I mean, if he's playing moves like a4, that means Black has no threats. Rook f2. Nice.
Nice. Okay, a5, I see.
a5. Why not?
Yeah, I like the way he's playing.
So again, we need Daniel and Zviad to pull it off. Daniel's game is complicated, but I like his chances there. This one, anything can still happen. Zviad is under pressure.
Queen e3. Looks like he's been still managing to keep his cool.
Ooh, rook g5 is nasty.
Rook
Rook e2.
e2.
Very nice move. Wow, clutch move, huh?
There's still queen g6, but queen takes e4, rook takes g3, king h2. Oh, queen e5. Oh, he's
no,
getting
this
mated.
is just mate. Oh no. That's it. Queen g1. Damn.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, he was in time trouble for a while now. After queen e5, I'm not sure what he does actually.
I think, wait, against queen e5, I think it looks really suspicious, but king to h2 might be the best move. And if rook takes g3, queen takes e4. Okay, it looks really suspicious, but I don't see a way
that seems
Black
to hold.
makes.
But yeah, king h2 is so hard to find there.
King h2, queen takes g3, queen takes g3, knight takes g3. Now rook to g2 should work. And the problem here with knight e4, I think c4 is possible, then b6. I'm not sure if that's holdable.
Yeah, it would be
but
super sharp.
certainly
You would need
much
to
better.
be you need to be Shaq Mamedyarov to win this with white.
And if knight e4, rook takes g5, knight takes g5, b6 takes. I mean, taking wins, but there's even... Oh, not a6, because knight e6 and knight c7. So there's a takes b6. And if knight e6, then b7. So this is all winning.
We have knight f3 check
Also,
in that
there's
last
a knight
position.
f1 check.
Then 95
so, but the problem
and
after
back to C6.
what?
All right, that final position. I played it out on the board for our viewers because they can't keep up with you. But black would have knight f3 check, knight e5, and then the knight comes back to c6 in time.
Actually, I realized another problem. After rook g2, there's knight f1 check. So I don't know. But after knight takes g3, there might be this move b6.
Ooh.
And if knight f1 check take h1, so I don't see the progress there. This is all kind of impossible to see, but under such
yeah, it reminds me of the Shaq game. So,
now
real
A6.
bummer for the hackers. I mean, Daniel did end up winning his game. So that was a very clutch win on his end because he really had to work for this one. But what happened here, it seems like white blundered their rook with rook takes e7.
Yeah, wait, so after, we could go back. After king h2, queen takes g3, queen takes g3, knight takes g3, b6, which is, okay, it's a tough move, and after takes a6. I think this was the idea, to save the game. Now again, against rook d5, rook e8 check, followed by a7. And that's quite important. And worst case scenario, black has knight f1, knight g3, and if he takes the rook, a7. And amazingly, I think this position is at least probably a draw, since the pawn queens and he has all this counterplay. So I think this was the best option.
Okay, I've lost track a little bit of where you're at, but I mean,
okay.
I think we can both agree that position was tough for white. So Zviad, he definitely had it the whole game, but when it comes down to 1 minute, I mean, anything can happen. And we had a lot of yeah, it was a tough day. I feel like the luck was not really on our side today. But the final score should be 9-7, I think.
Yeah.
So that round, that went 2.5, 1.5 for the Pandas. So, tough day for the hackers. I mean, that round one was just brutal. It's kind of a miracle we even had a chance to come back after starting 4-0, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means that we're at 2.5, 3.5. I think Super Saturday's coming up. In this Saturday, actually, or next Saturday is going to be Super Saturday. There's not going to be a match on Wednesday, but rather on Saturday we're going to do the same 8 play versus 8. I'm not sure which division we're playing. Probably not the Atlantic. We really crushed them last time, but one of the European divisions, I think. And that'll be a must-win situation for the hackers. We're going to have to really pull it off again to get back to even and try to sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, Christopher. Well, thanks a lot for joining me. I mean, I know you have your tournament tomorrow, so I wish you luck. I hope you get some rest.
Good luck to you too.
And well, I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you very soon. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry the result wasn't better, but we still have a chance. And I think the story of the hackers is not over quite yet. So we're going to rest up for Super Saturday and come back strong. All right, bye everyone.